guys, my name is Jakub, and I'll try to answer the question if JavaScript will be the next brand new Java in QA world. I'm working in gaming channel, so what do we really do in gaming? We got 8 online casinos. Those are web applications, responsive web applications, and native apps for Android and for iOS. I think that the biggest lobby is Vegas. The biggest online casino is Vegas. Also games like Casino Macau, Bingo, Poker, Casino, and Scratch Cards. Yeah, so those lobbies really differ between, let's say, different color theme and different set of games. Few bits and pieces, stats, 2 million, about 2 million visitors visits during typical Saturday, 80,000 game players every day, 250,000 game launches every day, and the approach of gaming, which is mobile first. 60% of our customers come from mobile and 40% from desktop. The technology stack behind is GraphQL for backend systems and React for frontend. We have some legacy projects written in Angular still, but we are constantly migrating one by one to this stack. And the approach for automation in QA team is that if the test can be automated and it makes sense to automate the test case, it should be automated. So we have to switch the mindset, not to manually test the thing, the feature, and then automate if we have some time, but to automate first, and if it somehow fails, like there's a stretch deadline, big pressure from the business, then test it manually and put the ticket in backlog to automate the specific feature. How do we automate? You might be curious about Java sign here, right? Yeah, we do have automation in Java. We use a framework called Selenium, which is a nice wrapper on Selenium. Makes life of people a lot easier. We use Jenkins for continuous integration, but it also changes. We're slowly migrating into GitLab CI to be more efficient, to stay really close to the code, and to run the tests when the pipeline is run. And we use Azure for reporting, which is really nice, and I believe this is a standard across the whole company. So, the structure of test automation. We do have, let's say, a major project. Let's say the main project, gaming page object model, where we keep object definitions, test methods, and let's call it common utils. And then we have test packs for every online casino. The problem is that those objects are, let's say, not common, right? So the login might have different selector on Vegas games, Macau and Bingo. So that's the big challenge, I would say. But this is going to change when we fully migrate to React, right? There will be one baseline code, one code base, and every selector will be exactly the same, but will change really rarely, we hope. This is Vegas, live casino, games, Macau, Bingo, Casino, and Scratch Cards. So what do you think? What is common between all those web pages? The answer is tricky. Everything. Everything is common. We got a header at the top, the promotion slider, game tiles, and you can see here the screenshot, but there's a footer at the bottom of the page. So this is, let's say that this is the scheme that 99% of online casinos, not only William Hills, but every casino in the internet you will follow the same thing, the same structure, right? So there is a nice initiative in the company going on. It's called consistency. What is consistency? this is like a very, let's say, high words, very nice definition. But this is a harmony, right? So right now we have like 8 definitions of game tiles in the code, and it's got nothing to do with effective working, right? So there's a team working on consistency initiative to rewrite all the elements of the web page to have consistent code, to create it once and then put something, for example, on the game tile, right? And it will make our life, QAs, a lot easier. Why JavaScript? Exactly the same, consistency. Developers create their code in JavaScript, so why the heck we as a QA team would do different? Java is, with all the respect to Java, it's heavy and it's slow. JavaScript is really light and it's very quick. Plus, if we create our test in JavaScript, then we can get support from developers. And the opposite, which I can say happened. There were some unit tests created by QAs. Pros and cons, like I said, the consistency, it's quick, it's light and stable. And the tool we use, the framework we use is WebDriver.io, which is constantly supported. And a lot of teams in the company use WebDriver.io. We can share knowledge between different teams, even different channels, which wasn't the case previously. And regarding cons, this is a new language, but I believe that the programming language is just a tool. You don't have to learn that much because it's really easy. We do not use asynchronous calls. We use asynchronous code for tests, which is, I believe, the right thing in QA, because you have to know which step will be executed when. And yeah, that's it. I'll show you some pieces of code right now. So I would like to show you a few cool stuff. First, regarding Yep. Regarding backend, this is GraphQL. I don't know how many of you saw something like that, know anything about GraphQL. But this is a tool that selects the very specific data from any API and serve it to you. Right? Sounds easy, but it doesn't serve the full, for example, JSON in that case. But it only gives you the data you need. Right? So that's like it's got a huge impact on performance for sure. So if I'd like to get some data for a game, as you can see, it's really self-descriptive and self-documented. It just tells me what can I do with the API, what data can I get. So I would like to select some data for games lobby. I would like to select, let's say, games by ID, and I would like to get the details of roulette. I would like to get ID, name, long general. It can be. It's not that easy with live demo, right? Okay, let's do it differently. Yeah, let's select AZ page. So the AZ page, if you take a look here, is the page that contains all games from the specific lobby. So what I've done, I've selected the list of all games from the AZ page. You do not get the full JSON, which is, believe me, it's huge. The database that contains all the data is really huge, and you would get like 2 megabytes of data in JSON. But here, you just receive everything you want. And the automation approach here we use is really, really simple. It's very generic. So this is written in JavaScript, obviously. So if you just take a look into the code, there is a source package where we keep all the logic regarding, let's say, the engine of the test. But the way we design the test is we serve the query to the test and then receive a result and compare it to the schema. We do not care about the specific data because it changes all the time. The content team managing the data is doing changes like every day. So we check it only if this is a string, if this is a number, if the required field, for example, is in the result JSON, right? So far it works really good. We didn't release any critical bug to production. Regarding reporting, that's exactly what Maciej said. Allo reporting, this is a standard in the company. So I think it's really easy, not only for QAs, but if you send it to product owner, believe me, he will love it. He can just drill down across the failed scenarios and check the scenario for authenticated user failed. So there's obviously a problem with authentication service. That's Allo reporting, and it's really, really nice. If we are talking about front-end stuff, those are the consistent items that we're talking about. Those are written in React, and this is a storybook for all those components. And we as a QA can play with it on different way, really. So we can select the jackpot if it should be displayed, and all changes are done in the URL to the storybook. So we can just modify the expected results with the URL. So that's exactly what we are doing here. We are modifying the knobs of the storybook, and we got, let's call it a data-driven testing. So for example, if you want to check jackpots functionality on game tile, we do have a set of data that we want to check. Let's say that this is those are the edge cases that we know exist in current solutions, so we want to check those. And then, if you just take a look here, the syntax of JavaScript is super easy, because we just navigate to the URL, switch to the item of the storybook, and then we expect that jackpot ticker is visible. And this is the whole assertion. We throw an error, jackpot ticker is displayed if it shouldn't be, and it fails. The reporting, like we saw, is really easy. And yeah, we use visual regression as well, like Maciej said. This is one of the latest failures. Exactly the same super pink element here. The jackpot ticker was missing, so we have a constant feedback loop, right? The jackpot ticker was not working properly, so we can just log into Allure and check that the ticker is not working. Dr. Love, one of the best games. Okay, last but not least thing I would like to talk about is testing untestable APIs. As a gaming company, we got a lot of third-party suppliers. They provide us with the API, but usually it's a production API, so we cannot really change anything behind, right, under the hood. The testing environment from the third-party services are really often poor quality. I bet a lot of you know that situation, how it works. So what can we do? Of course, we can prepare some mocks. So what do we use for this purpose? We use a RoboHydra. Sounds crazy, but believe me that creating mock is as simple as this. We can create just basically a JSON here, which has to be returned, and then create a piece of code from get started document. So it's really easy. You can create that kind of mock server in 15 minutes. And what's the best here, what we used for one of the small projects here to display a bonus pop-up, so-called, is we had API test pack and UI test pack. And we've been operating on the same mock, but we had to somehow switch, we wanted to have a full automated flow. So we wanted to run the API pack, then switch the mock to the UI pack, and then run the UI tests. So RoboHydra admin panel is here. If you want to run the API pack, you can just run it here. You can deactivate it, activate UI tests, and you can get another set of data. And this one is operated by one file, like 20 lines in JavaScript, and you can just get all the data from third-party supplier, just copy it into a JSON file, launch launch the mock server, and use different sets of data for your testing purposes. You can experiment with everything really here. We're still in the process of implementing these features of gaming, like for mock server for gaming, but we see a huge potential here. And like I said, if you get any APIs that are untestable or you cannot access the database behind the API, just use mocks, right? Because this is the purpose of it. Any questions? Thank you very much.